Welcome to the tutorial on imaging requests and standards. This presentation is brought to you by the Arizona State Library Archives and Public Records, a division of the Arizona Office of the Secretary of State. By the end of this tutorial, you will know how to find a blank imaging request form. You'll know how to complete the form, and you'll understand when to utilize it. Please note that imaging request forms expire after 5 years and must be renewed. You need to do this in order to stay compliant with the imaging request and the transfer of the official record to the digitized version. Imaging request forms can be found on our website at azlibrary.gov. Navigate to Branches, Records, Records Forms, and then either to Request for Document Imaging of Public Records or Minimum Standards for Digital Imaging or Scanning of Textual Documents. You will utilize this imaging request form for the digitization of public records. Here we have our Request for Document Imaging of Public Records form. We like to commonly refer to this as our imaging request form. This is for the digitization of all public records. There is no longer two forms, there is just one. This form is required for a record with a retention of over 10 years. What this means is that this form is required for anything over 10 years, and if you have a retention that is less than 10 years, you do not need to complete this request, and we don't need to know until you complete your certificate of destruction. This is the ARS that tells you about imaging, if you would like to go over that. This is very important. Later on page 2, you will acknowledge some minimum standards for digital imaging. This is also very important. This says you will not destroy an original record if it has a permanent retention. A note of instruction. You will complete pages 1 and 2 for imaging records with retention times of 10 to 30 years. Your source material can be destroyed. You will complete pages 1 through 3 if your records have a retention of over 30 years. The source record cannot be destroyed if it is a permanent retention. The next area we have here is that as the applicant, you will complete this for your agency. Your agency name, records officer name, you'll sign it. This is a complete digital form. You can complete it digitally. We will complete this part when we approve it. An imaging request is valid for 5 years. These are those general requirements that you read in the standards. You will initial them and acknowledge that you have read them and you will comply. This is saying you read it. This one is saying that you want to transfer that official record name over to the digital version. This complete form, the imaging request form, is your certification that the official record is that digitized version. There's some control processes. You will read this in the standards as well. You'll mark what kind of format they're going to be and the scan resolution and initial those. The bottom one here is for state agencies only, so if you're not a state agency, just don't initial. You'll send this back to us at records@azlibrary.gov. We will sign it once we review it to make sure that all the information on there is how it should be. If you are digitizing records of over a 30-year retention, we ask that you complete the record series number here for anything that has a permanent retention. And it says here, again, that you will not destroy that source material. Down here, if you're doing long-term records, so with an RSN that has a retention of over 30 years, we just ask that you put them in here. You can destroy those source materials. However, We just want to know that you're doing long-term records, because we will look into making sure that you're marking the appropriate resolutions if that is the case. Sometimes agencies will tend to not realize there is a different standard for records that are a little bit longer retention, and that's okay. Down here, you will acknowledge that you are not going to destroy your permanent records, and then sign it again as the records officer. Here is our scanning resolution for documents that have a retention of 10 to 30 years. I included this one because it is the most common among everyone. If you have a record of over a 30-year retention, the standards are a bit higher. It removes the top one here that we see of the 300 DPI. It has to be the other three. Just make sure that you mark that in the imaging request. And if you need to know the guidelines on that, the standards are a link on the imaging request. You can go ahead and click on that and find more. As a note, imaging for web access only has much lower standards, but they cannot replace the record as the original. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have any suggestions on videos about records management that you would like to see, please email us at records@azlibrary.gov. If you have any questions or concerns about records management and need more in-depth training, visit our presentations playlist on the YouTube channel. If you would like to book an agency training or a Q&A session, you can also send us an email at records@azlibrary.gov, and we will gladly set up a time to meet with you or your agency.